Russian media report that the far eastern branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences is working on a new naval drone designed to launch UAVs at sea. Based on the available images, it appears to be intended for launching Shaheds or similar drones. The visuals show a naval drone built as a platform topped with a frame and a small roof. All communication and navigation antennas, as well as cameras, are mounted on this roof. Directly beneath it is a box-shaped launcher containing 4 presumed Shahed drones. To protect the drones from the marine environment, each cell is sealed with a special lid designed to keep moisture out. Since the system lacks a catapult, each Shahed would require a solid fuel booster for launch. In addition to the Shahed launcher, the drone also carries a remotely operated turret armed with what is likely a 7.62mm PKT machine gun. Notably, it is positioned directly in front of the launcher, exactly where the Shaheds would exit using a powerful booster. This placement raises serious questions. The exhaust and debris from the booster could damage the turret's electronics, optics, or other components, making it unlikely to remain operational after even a single launch without repairs. The drone's frame is also expected to be covered with a lightweight mesh claimed to absorb radio waves and reduce radar visibility by a factor of 4. While this may sound like an invisibility cloak, similar materials do exist. However, the effectiveness of Russian-made variants is highly debatable. Another question is whether this system has any real value if intended for use against Ukraine. The distance from the coast of occupied Crimea to Ukrainian-controlled shoreline is roughly 150 kilometers, offering little meaningful advantage. The concept does not become more convincing when considering strikes against NATO's European members. Given the Shahed's 1,800 to 2,500 kilometers flight range, launches from Russia or occupied Crimea are already sufficient to reach almost all of Europe. The practical strike range, after accounting for maneuvering, is lower. Furthermore, if Shahed drones are fitted with heavier warheads, over 90 kilograms instead of the standard 50, their range decreases, making a mobile maritime platform potentially more relevant. Such a platform could also add an element of surprise, allowing the UAV to appear on radar only a few kilometers from the coast, limiting the response time available to air defense systems. However, the rationale for launching Shaheds from naval drones changes significantly when shifting the focus to other theaters, particularly those near the far eastern branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences, the Pacific, and the United States. In that context, the idea suddenly becomes more rational. The distance from Kamchatka to the coast of California, for example, exceeds 7,000 kilometers via a complex route. To strike deep inside the US using long-range drones, it would be logical for Russia to consider deploying UAVs closer to launch range using unmanned maritime platforms. Yet one critical limitation remains. Russia lacks a reliable satellite communications network. As a result, it relies on radio control, which is easy to jam and detect, and which restricts operational range to the distance of the control signal. In conclusion, the new Russian naval carrier for Shaheds makes little sense in a war against Ukraine, or even in the European theater. Its relevance appears only in the context of a hypothetical conflict with the United States. The Geran-2 has been extensively deployed in Ukraine, targeting a wide array of military and critical infrastructure, including power grids, airfields, ammunition depots, and command centers. Its operational doctrine emphasizes mass swarm attacks, where waves of hundreds of drones saturate air defenses, depleting missile stocks and overwhelming radar and interceptor systems. This tactic exploits the drone's relatively low cost, estimated between $30,000 and $80,000 per unit, depending on configuration, compared to the high expense of surface-to-air missiles and interceptor systems. The drone's ability to autonomously navigate to pre-programmed coordinates, combined with real-time data links and machine vision in advanced variants, enables flexible and adaptive strike profiles. The Geran-2 program exemplifies the strategic partnership between Iran and Russia, combining Iranian design expertise with Russian industrial capacity. This collaboration has allowed Russia to circumvent Western sanctions and maintain a steady supply of loitering munitions critical for its operations in Ukraine. The conflict has accelerated the proliferation and evolution of such drones, raising concerns among NATO and allied nations about the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to swarm attacks and the need for enhanced counter-drone measures. The Geran-2's longer range and heavier payload make it more akin to a low-cost cruise missile than a typical tactical loitering munition like the Switchblade. Its mass production and swarm tactics contrast with the more precise, smaller-scale use of Western systems. The Geran-2 represents a significant evolution in loitering munition technology, combining affordability, range, and enhanced electronic warfare resistance. Its mass production and operational use have altered the battlefield dynamics in Ukraine and underscored the growing role of swarm drones in modern conflicts. For international defense communities, the Geran-2 exemplifies the challenges posed by low-cost, high-volume drone warfare, necessitating new approaches to air defense, electronic warfare, and infrastructure protection.